Hey guys, Aaron Farmer here with MySugarFreeJourney.com, and this is the recap video for the stuff that we talked about yesterday on day 7 of our 28-day challenge. So thanks to those of you that joined us for those live videos. I love answering your questions, and I hope everyone is having a good Memorial Day today. So today we're going to talk about stress. Stress also has an effect on weight gain. So scientists tell us that if you put animals or people in stressful circumstances, they will often eat even if they're not hungry. So have you ever had a stressful day and you just wanted to unwind with a pint of Haagen-Dazs, Haagen-Dazs ice cream, and sit in the dark and eat a Haagen-Dazs and binge watch Netflix or something like that? So why is that? Why do we go to those sugary and carby foods when we're stressed? So right on top of your kidneys sits your adrenal glands. So the job of your adrenal gland is to secrete cortisol. That's your stress hormone. So cortisol is your body's response to stress. So if you're stressed, cortisol is released. It's cortisol that keeps you from going into shock when you're dehydrated. It keeps you awake when you're fatigued. But in a stressful situation, it also reduces inflammation. So cortisol is supposed to spike when you're in a dangerous situation, like if you're being chased by a bear, or if you're getting cut off in traffic, and then slowly subside. So something stressful happens, cortisol spikes, it gives you the energy and the ability to deal with whatever's stressing you out, and then it goes away. That's how it should work. But what if you're always under stress? So if you're one of the countless Americans that live paycheck to paycheck, you're not confident that you know exactly where your next meal is coming from, then those adrenal glands are constantly pumping out cortisol. Cortisol increases blood pressure, it increases blood glucose levels, and it increases heart rate, which makes sense if you're in a stressful situation and you need to get out of it, like you're being chased by a bear and you need to get up a tree. You need the increased blood pressure, you need the higher blood sugar levels for the energy to get out of the situation. But if it's a constant situation, then you always have those high blood sugar levels. You always have that stressed out, high blood pressure going on. You're constantly in fight or flight mode, and you never get that turned off. So cortisol also increases the desire for comfort food and packs on fat around your midsection because you're stressed and you want to relax, and that's what comfort food does. And unfortunately, when you're in a high cortisol state and you eat high carb and high sugar foods, it doesn't just pack on weight; it packs on weight around your middle, which is where it does the most damage. And of course, that makes sense. Liver's the engine. That's what turns fat into energy. And if you're in a high stress situation, you want that fat to be as close to your liver as possible, so you've got a quick reserve of energy. Well, and that only makes sense if you are, if you're only stressed every once in a while. If you're in a constant state of stress, cortisol keeps packing on fat around your middle, and you get fatter and fatter and fatter. So we know that it's the poorest sections of people in America that have the most stress and suffer from the most cortisol overload. Risk factors for this cortisol problem are being poor, being female, being a minority, or having very little confidence or authority. So it's the people that are at the bottom rung, that are at the poorest, that have the least amount of societal power. Those are the ones that are most at risk for having all the issues that come up with cortisol overload. Children can have these stresses as well, and if your body conditions you at a very young age to seek comfort in sugary foods when you're young, it's hard to break out of that habit as you get older. So cortisol not only triggers cravings for comfort foods, it also seems to trigger those cravings primarily at night. So that's why when you crave stuff, you crave it at night before you go to bed. So these are, if you're constantly craving late night snacks, you could be a stress eater. So these stress eaters exhibit increases in insulin, increases in weight, and increases in cortisol at night, which just compounds the problem because you're eating a lot of calories right before you go to bed, and then you go to bed and you don't give your body a chance to use it. So stress also decreases your sleep time, increases your BMI, and BMI also increases among people who just get less sleep. So that's your body mass index. So if you don't sleep enough, your BMI goes up. Sleep deprivation increases cortisol and leptin, which mimics starvation and hunger. It also activates the hormone ghrelin, which makes you desire food. That's why the more fatigued you are, the greater the desire to just eat some food, because that's going to give you a boost of energy to go through your day. A high BMI is a strong predictor of sleep deprivation due to sleep apnea. So, of course, sleep apnea is almost exclusively a problem among the obese. Sleep apnea, of course, causes its own set of problems, including increased risk for heart failure. I can tell you just from personal experience, both my wife and I used to be terrible snorers. In fact, it was at times it was just a race to see who would go to sleep first, because the last one to sleep had to listen to the other one snore all night. But since we've lost 100 pounds each or more, we just don't snore anymore. It's not an issue anymore. So insulin and cortisol work together to drive weight gain. Insulin essentially tells your body to store fat, and cortisol tells your body where to put it. So they do different things, but they work together to make you fatter. So insulin says, hey body, store fat, and then if you're stressed, the cortisol levels tell your body to store fat primarily around that midsection. So they work together to make you fatter in the worst way possible. So these three things, we've got hunger, we've got reward, and we've got stress. They all conspire together to drive high levels of insulin and weight gain. High levels of insulin suppress leptin, so you always feel hungry and you don't want to move or expend energy. It also makes you crave high fat and high sugar foods as a reward. And stress releases cortisol, which promotes excessive food intake. So taken together, it's a hormonal trap that's difficult to get out of. So in your efforts to lose weight, you also you've got to control your diet. You've got to cut out the carbs, cut out the sugar, but you also need to take steps to lower your cortisol. You've got to do something to relax, and whatever that is for you, maybe it's a bubble bath, maybe you take up yoga. Maybe you have to, get up 10 or 15 minutes early and do some light stretching just to kind of relax and kind of ease into your day. Maybe you want to read a chapter in a book before you go to bed. But whatever it is for you, there's something that de-stresses you, and you need to make room for that in your life as you're trying to lose weight. If it's exercise, if it's stretching, if it's I don't know. Everyone's different. If it's skydiving, whatever, go skydiving. But whatever it is that de-stresses you, whatever it is that makes you feel relaxed, you need to make room for that in your life if you're going to combat your weight loss. All right. So we will see you tonight in the Facebook room. Hope to see you there. Bye bye.